Here is your complete psychology-based script, written in a reflective, empathetic competitor-style tone and structured as a seamless emotional exploration. Word count is within your requested range. There are people who say, "I'm sorry," even when nothing is truly their fault. They apologize when someone else is late. They apologize when the weather ruins plans. They apologize when a conversation becomes uncomfortable. They apologize for taking up space, for asking questions, for having needs. Sometimes they even apologize simply for existing in the moment. If you recognize yourself in this, you are not weak. You are not broken. You are not too sensitive. You are someone who learned at some point in life that safety came from taking responsibility for other people's emotions. This habit does not come from politeness alone. It comes from psychology, from survival, from learning early that harmony mattered more than honesty, that peace mattered more than truth, that being liked mattered more than being understood. For many people who over-apologize, childhood was not necessarily dramatic or abusive. Sometimes it was subtle. Sometimes it was unpredictable. Maybe caregivers were emotionally volatile. Maybe conflict was loud. Maybe love felt conditional. Maybe mistakes were punished with silence, withdrawal, or disappointment. So the child learned something powerful. If I take the blame, things calm down. If I apologize first, I stay safe. If I make myself small, I won't be rejected. Over time, apologizing became a protective reflex, not a choice, a survival strategy. When a child grows up in an environment where emotional stability is uncertain, their nervous system learns to scan constantly for danger. They become highly attuned to tone shifts, facial expressions, and mood changes. They sense tension before others notice it. They feel discomfort before words are spoken, and when they sense that tension, their body reacts. Heart rate increases, muscles tighten, thoughts race. What did I do wrong? How do I fix this? Am I about to lose connection? Apologizing becomes the fastest way to regulate that fear. It becomes emotional first aid. In adulthood, this looks like, "I'm sorry for bothering you. I'm sorry that was probably stupid. I'm sorry, I talked too much. I'm sorry, never mind. I'm sorry it's my fault," even when it's clearly not. Psychologically, this pattern is often linked to people-pleasing, anxious attachment, and hyper-responsibility. These individuals tend to believe deep down that they are responsible for maintaining emotional balance in relationships. If someone is upset, they assume it must be because of them. If someone withdraws, they assume they caused it. If someone is uncomfortable, they feel obligated to fix it. They carry invisible emotional labor everywhere they go. They become emotional caretakers without realizing it. This mindset often forms in homes where children had to emotionally support adults. Maybe they were the mature one, the understanding one, the easy child, the one who didn't cause trouble, the one who didn't complain. They learned that love was earned through compliance. So, as adults, they continue performing for acceptance. Apologizing becomes a way to say, "Please don't leave. Please don't be upset. Please don't reject me." But beneath the politeness is fear. Fear of abandonment. Fear of conflict. Fear of being too much. Fear of being unlovable when imperfect. Another layer beneath over-apologizing is shame, not surface shame. Deep, internalized shame. The belief, something is wrong with me. When people grow up receiving more criticism than validation, more correction than comfort, they begin to see themselves as inherently flawed. They internalize mistakes as evidence of worthlessness. So even small things feel heavy. If they misunderstand something, it feels like a moral failure. If they inconvenience someone, it feels like a personal defect. If they express emotion, it feels like a burden. Apologizing becomes a way to preempt rejection. If I criticize myself first, you won't have to. If I apologize first, you won't blame me. If I lower myself, you won't push me down. This is not humility. This is self-protection. In relationships, this pattern often creates imbalance. The over-apologizer becomes the emotional sponge. They absorb responsibility that isn't theirs. They smooth over conflicts that need honest discussion. They forgive too quickly. They minimize their pain. They tolerate behaviors that hurt them. They might say, It's fine, it's okay, don't worry about it. When it is not fine, when it hurts, when it matters. But speaking up feels dangerous because somewhere in their past, honesty cost them connection. So they choose silence. They choose apologies over boundaries. They choose peace over authenticity. Over time, this creates emotional exhaustion because constantly managing others' feelings is draining, because suppressing your own needs is painful, because living in self-blame erodes self-worth. Many over-apologizers struggle with chronic anxiety. Their minds are always evaluating interactions, replaying conversations, analyzing tone, searching for mistakes. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I upset them? Should I apologize again? Their inner world rarely rests. They may also struggle with depression because when you repeatedly invalidate yourself, you teach your brain that your feelings do not matter. And when feelings don't matter, meaning slowly disappears. Another hidden effect is identity confusion. When you are always adapting, pleasing, and minimizing, you lose touch with who you are. You become who others need you to be. You become agreeable, flexible, accommodating, but inside, you feel invisible. You might not even know what you want anymore because you learned early that wanting was risky. The good news is this pattern is learned, and what is learned can be unlearned. Healing begins with awareness, noticing when you apologize automatically, noticing when you take blame that isn't yours, noticing when you feel responsible for emotions you did not cause. These moments are invitations to pause, to breathe, to ask, am I actually at fault right now, or am I trying to feel safe? Learning to replace unnecessary apologies with grounded statements is powerful. Instead of, sorry for bothering you, try, thank you for your time. Instead of, sorry, I'm bad at this, try, I'm learning. Instead of, sorry, it's my fault, try. Let's look at what happened. These are not acts of arrogance. They are acts of self-respect. Another important step is learning to tolerate discomfort. Healthy relationships include tension, they include misunderstandings, they include moments of disappointment. These do not mean you are unlovable. They mean you are human. Learning that conflict does not equal abandonment is life-changing. It allows your nervous system to relax. It allows your voice to emerge. It allows your needs to exist without guilt. Healing also involves reconnecting with your inner child, the part of you that learned to apologize to survive. That child deserves compassion. They did what they had to do. They adapted. They found safety in softness. You do not need to erase that part. You need to reassure it. You can say, internally, thank you for protecting me. I'm safe now. I can speak. I can take space. I can exist without apologizing. Over time, practicing boundaries, self-validation, and emotional honesty rewires the brain. New neural pathways form. The body learns that self-expression does not lead to rejection. The heart learns that love does not require self-erasure. You begin to feel stronger. Not louder, not harsher, stronger in presence, stronger in self-trust, stronger in knowing your worth is not conditional. And perhaps the most important realization is this: you were never too much. You were never wrong for having needs. You were never selfish for wanting respect. You were never flawed for existing. You learned to apologize because you cared deeply, because you wanted connection, because you wanted peace, because you wanted love. That tenderness is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to protect. The goal is not to become cold. The goal is to become balanced, to care without self-sacrifice, to empathize without self-blame, to love without disappearing. So, if you are someone who apologizes too much, know this: you are not weak. You are healing. Every time you pause before saying I'm sorry, every time you choose honesty over fear, every time you honor your own feelings, you are rewriting your story. And slowly, gently, you are learning that you deserve to take up space in this world without apology. If you'd like, I can now adapt this into a voiceover-ready YouTube script, short-form version, or series format for your channel.